Egusi pepper soup or pepper soup egusi is one soup that I got to love because of my brother's wife, and today I'll be showing you how I make mine. My name is Ehi and you're welcome to my kitchen. As usual, we'll be getting to know our ingredients first. So these are the basic ingredients that I use when I make egusi pepper soup. Now the star of the show is the egusi seed. Personally, when I make egusi pepper soup, I like to toast my egusi seeds first before going through with the process. And honestly, in recent times, I've been loving the vibe of toasting my egusi seeds, whether I'm making regular egusi soup or egusi pepper soup, and I think you should try it too. But if you don't want to try it, just do with the regular egusi seeds fresh and you are good. I'll also be using a mix of peppers for flavor. So some red scotch bonnet pepper, yellow habanero pepper, green scotch bonnet pepper, and also this orange scotch bonnet pepper that looks like it is going to get red when it ripens. I feel like a mixture of these peppers just amplifies the flavor of this dish. We'll also be needing some fresh periwinkles, of course, which is very optional. You can always skip it. We'll be needing some crayfish and some dried prawns. See, if you use these dried prawns to cook your egusi pepper soup, it will hit different every single time. Try it and thank me later. We'll also be needing some ginger and garlic, because what is pepper soup without ginger and garlic? We'll also be needing some onions. Honestly, we need this blended, but my husband helped me out and chopped it, and I just had to show it like this first. We'll also be needing some protein of choice. For this, I'm using some goat's meat, shaki, liver. Then we'll also be needing some fresh fish because it amplifies the flavor of this dish every single time. And of course, some pepper soup spice. Now you can blend your own pepper soup spice at home. Just get the raw ingredients from the market. But you see this particular brand of pepper soup spice, I've come to really love it because it looks homemade. It doesn't look like the regular ones you get from the store that looks heavily mixed and all of that, and I've just stuck with it provided I keep finding it in the store. I also forgot to add that you need some catfish, which is optional, but trust me when I tell you that this smoked catfish, it amps the flavor of your dish every single time. Now let's get right into the cooking process. If your protein has not been pre-cooked beforehand, you want to start by cooking your proteins first. But because I had mine already pre-cooked, I'm just going to be adding some scotch bonnet pepper, a little bit of seasoning because this has been pre-cooked with seasoning before, some paprika and some black pepper and some water. Basically what I'm trying to do here is just to allow the meat to release some of its flavors into the water because we need that flavor for this soup. So I'm just going to proceed to cover this up and allow this come to a boil for about 5 minutes. Now whilst that is cooking, we're just going to proceed to prep our other ingredients. Basically, we are going to be blending our pepper, some of our onions, because I like to keep a portion of the onions to blend alongside with my egusi. It really is just optional. We're going to be blending the ginger, the garlic, our crayfish and our dried prawns together into a semi-smooth or smooth paste depending on what your preference is. After blending, you want your paste to be looking something like this. So I'm just going to pour that out and proceed to blend my egusi almost immediately. See, I didn't bother rinsing out my blender because we're going to be using the pepper for the soup anyway. It's important for you to know that if you are aiming for a clumpy kind of egusi pepper soup, you do not want to blend your egusi like this with water. You probably want to blend it dry and then mix it so that it could form seeds once you put it into your pot. But I was aiming for something more liquidy, so I decided to do this. At this point, the meat must have released as much flavor as I want, so I'm just going to proceed to give that a very good stir. Note that when you're making egusi pepper soup, You want to be generous with your water, but I'm trying to add mine in batches. So I proceeded to go in with my dried catfish because, like I said, this adds the flavor of this dish. I'm putting this in very early enough because I want it to emit its flavors into the soup as quickly as possible and also soften along the way. Notice that I am seasoning in batches as well. I'm basically adding 1 cube of seasoning at a time, and that is how you build flavors when cooking. I proceeded to add in our blended mix, gave that a very good stir, covered up and allowed this cook for about 5 minutes. Once this has come to a boil, you want to proceed to add in your egusi paste and your fresh fish if you are using fresh fish for this. Then you want to cover up and allow this cook on medium low heat for about 15 minutes because you want your egusi to cook properly. Again, if you are not aiming for a liquid like egusi pepper soup, just note that you want to add your egusi in tiny clumps at this point. Please note that some people add their pepper soup spice at this point. Other people even do it earlier. But that's not me, guys. So just stay with me. Whilst that was cooking, I proceeded to put some water on the other burner to make my poundo yam because I wanted to eat this as it is hot. Now this has been cooking for about 15 minutes and you can see how beautiful it is already looking. You want to at this point give your soup a very safe stir because you do not want your fish breaking in your soup. Honestly, this is the consistency you should be aiming at for your egusi pepper soup or something even lighter, but I wanted mine thicker, so I decided to cook for longer. At this point, I decided to add in my pepper soup spice and some extra seasoning to taste. Remember to add salt if you are using salt to cook. Oh. Don't say you did not see he add salt, so you forgot to add salt in your soup. It no go sweet, so so you want to give that a very good stir. Then you want to cover up and allow this come to a boil for about 3 minutes. Notice that I have not added my periwinkles. Now this has cooked for an extra 3 minutes and you can see that it is getting thicker because this soup, as it cooks, it thickens. As it cools, it thickens, and that is one of the things that I love about the soup. It is at this point that I proceed to add in my periwinkles. Now I always add my periwinkles last because periwinkles cook very quickly and the last thing you want is to cook with periwinkles and you're not going to see your periwinkle inside your soup. So you just want to add it last every time, then let it simmer on medium low heat for another 3 to 5 minutes. After that, food is literally ready, and trust me when I tell you that your neighbors, they cannot breathe because the aroma of this soup is crazy. Because this is pepper soup, you can decide to sprinkle some scent leaves over the top. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Bye.